Hello everyone, BL Carter here, affectionately known as Miss B. Hopefully you are doing well and working on the pieces to your puzzle. We're back now with the part 2 of the symptoms of people with a poorly treated overactive thyroid. Hopefully it wasn't too much for you in part 1. If it was, again, go over it. That's why I did the video, so you can play it as many times as you need to play it. Now let's move on into part 2. Let's recap from part 1. Hyperthyroidism is what? It's when your thyroid is overactive. Root causes can be due to deficiencies in your other endocrine glands. Make sure you see the video on endocrine glands so you understand the entire system. The symptoms from hyperthyroidism affect a wide range of body functions, including sleep, mood, weight and digestion, hair, nails, skin, your vision. You develop anxiety, tremors, there'll be disturbances in vision, disturbances in the heart function, palpitations, AFib. The heart itself may enlarge, as well as brain functions, ability to think clearly, to concentrate, a lot of mood swings, things like that. We talked about the treatments, meds, the propylthiouracil, also known as PTU, as well as surgery and the nuclear meds. So, now moving into part 2. What happens if it's not treated at all? If you don't know it, or if for whatever reason you've not gotten the treatment. First and foremost, an untreated hyperthyroid person can develop serious heart problems. When I was going through this issue, all the internet information I found just dismissed it as, oh, it's not that big of a deal, just go get it treated, and that's it. My doctors gave me a different position. They were very, very concerned because of the heart problems that were developing, and so that led to some confusion, for me, because I wasn't sure the information I was finding on the internet wasn't matching what doctors were saying. But I did get, second opinion, and I knew I was experiencing the heart problems, the palpitations, the AFib, all of that. I was experiencing that, and it was becoming annoying, really, and kind of scary too. But if untreated, those heart problems can become serious. You can move into the next point there, thyroid storm. That's where your heart rate and your blood pressure can get too high, and this can be fatal. And when I was finally diagnosed, I was at a point of thyroid storm. So for me, it was a matter of, I didn't have a lot of time, according to doctors, to make my decision to act. And so you definitely want to jump on this. This is not something you want to leave, postpone, delay, be in denial about. If you're dealing with it, you want to find out about it and stay on top of it. One of the other things you can develop if it's left untreated for an extended period of time is major bone problems, brittle bone disease. You look up, your bones are so weak and brittle that all you have to do is just brush up against something and you've got a little fracture. A general fall. Suppose you by chance roll out of the bed, look up and you got a broken arm, a broken leg, a broken hip or something. And that's due to calcium distribution being off. And I make sure to highlight the calcium distribution because this is also going to come up in another video regarding the thyroid. Calcium distribution is very critical to the body. For those of you who don't know, and this is just a quick little side piece here, a lot of people who have dementia and some of the other memory sort of disorders as they age, it's a result of too much calcium amassing within the brain. We know about the pineal gland and its inability to function for those who are of that particular community if it's been calcified. But some of us don't know that the building blocks of breast cancer are calcium deposits. So it's quite possible that the calcium can distribute and collect up in a person's breast, male or female, but primarily women. And oftentimes it's benign. It's but over time that can change depending on environmental factors, DNA factors, etc., and become a breast cancer issue. Kidney stones, gallstones, all those different stones all over the body, those are masses of calcium. So an untreated hyperthyroid over the long haul can create more quality of life issues for you. So it's definitely something that you want to address. You don't want to leave it sitting out. Okay, so what are our takeaways? If you have a thyroid diagnosis of any kind, you want to become intimately familiar with your body. You need to know it better than you know your cycle, better than you know your social security number, better than you know your address or how to get home. You want to become intimately familiar with your body, all areas. Next, use this as a guide to help you in managing it along with your medical team. My experience has been in communicating with other persons, the more information you have, the better armed you are, and the better you're able to help direct your care or participate in your care. If you expect the medical team to give it all to you and tell it all to you, chances are you're going to forget stuff. They may not necessarily tell you everything you need to know. You may not know which questions to ask, etc. So again, use this as a guide. I wouldn't say print it out and walk in there and take it to them and say, hey, look at all of this stuff. But use it as a guide before you go for your appointment. Hopefully you've been writing down your symptoms, etc., etc. And refresh the areas in this video that align with the symptoms that you've been having. And just get a general idea. Do your research and keep researching your diagnoses, any medicines they give you, and ways in which you can improve your life. And so that when you go to your appointments and you see your medical team, you can give them accurate and concrete information to better help you, to better help improve your life, your quality of life. Okay, some more takeaways. We are going to be the overseer of our medical care in our team. Your body is yours. It was assigned to you the day you were formed, when those two entities met. Your body had become yours at that point, and it grew and grew and grew, and we are where we are today. So you have to be the overseer of your medical care in your team. You be the intermediary, because as the next one says, doctors compartmentalize. They really communicate with each other. So if there is emotional stuff going on, your mental health team or doctor or hopefully just a counselor or therapist and nothing beyond that, is not necessarily going to communicate with the doctors in the physiological area. If you're dealing with your OBGYN who's looking at your breast, let's say if you've got some calcifications, she's probably not going to communicate with your endocrinologist. Your endocrinologist is not going to communicate with the osteopath who is dealing with the bones and stuff like that. They're not going to communicate. So that's why I said you have to be the overseer of your care in your team, and you have to push for all the information to be integrated together and advocate for yourself. And which takes us into the next one. Support is critical, because you can't do it alone. Just the mere nature of the condition itself precludes you from being able to do it alone. So you're going to need some support, professional support, as well as lay support. Just, your mom, dad, the neighbor, the dog. Well, not the dog, but someone who can communicate English, obviously. And so they can help you integrate all this information. They can help you advocate for yourself and your best care. You're going to need help wading through all of it and staying sane, because it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. And that support is going to help you stay sane through the process. You'll have your days, of course, and some days that you just want to, pull your hair out, or, I don't know, move out to the desert and just start life all over again or whatever. But as you begin to be the overseer of your care and of your team, as you begin to integrate what all the different specialists are saying and advocate on your behalf and work out a care plan that works for you, that's helping you to feel better, then that sanity is it'll kind of stabilize, and you can get enough of you back to function well. And I'm big on therapists / counselors, just because I think life throws us so many curveballs, and if we don't handle them the right way, they can come back to bite us in the butt later. So this is definitely a situation where, and it was helpful for me. I was given a whole bunch of not a bunch, but a couple different mental diagnoses by my PCP, because he didn't want to do the referral to a specialist. And so he just said, oh no, you're crazy, you're this, you got mental issues, go see mental health. And so I did. And thankfully, I had a counselor / therapist, whatever she was. Thankfully, she realized that, stuff was all over the place. She couldn't even give me a diagnosis, because my symptoms were in every category. And she said she's never seen that before. That doesn't happen. Something else is going on. So thankfully, she did not assume that I was mental. And as we began to talk more about my physiological health and why I had been referred there, she started doing research as well. And so that's, another person that was helping to do the research. And so I would get my lab work and take it to her, and we'd sit down and analyze that stuff. And she's like, okay, well, yeah, see, this would make sense, because no matter what the PCP is saying, your labs are showing this. So she was my push to help me realize, no, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't going crazy. I was experiencing the mental symptoms that go along with the condition. So, and if you ever need to verify that you're not going crazy, that's definitely a good reason to have someone on hand who's walked the journey with you. I say tap your faith and your spirituality, and tap it hard. If you have no faith in any particular religion per se, or spiritual persuasion, get one, and get one fast. We all should have one, I personally think. I'm not saying what it is, that's your decision, but I think you should have it. And that's going to help you to align with the spirit in you, the inner you. Because that inner you, and I think secular they call it intuition or whatever, that inner you is going to talk to you. It's going to let you know when things are off. Sometimes it'll tell you stuff is off before you're even symptomatic. It's going to help you to determine whether something a doctor is telling you is correct, not correct, if you need to pay attention to it, if it's okay what they're saying and move on from there, or if you need to stay in that area and keep pushing in that area a little bit further. So it's very important. Plus, it'll help to ease some of the anxiety and other conditions that wind up being a result of. I share this with pretty much everybody, but stop focusing and don't allow others to focus on the mental / anxiety symptoms. Because once you are properly treated, those will go away. Or they will diminish so to the point where you almost don't even know that they're there. So don't focus on it. Just know that it is a temporary situation as long as you get in the proper care and don't allow anyone else to focus on it or label you in that area. I got that actually from a licensed psychiatrist. I was going through and I went to them and I said, look, I feel like I'm going crazy. And that man took one look at me and just told me that my condition, he told me my condition. And I, told him very clearly, no, I'm taking my meds, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, etc. He said, it's not under control. And then, of course, he told me that by law, he couldn't even diagnose me with anything knowing that I had that condition, because that condition will cause all the symptoms I was talking about. And not even just by law, but just by his personal ethics, he wouldn't allow him to do that, to treat me in any way mental. But and something he said very clearly. He said, if you are symptomatic, keep looking for other doctors. And if you have a doctor that refuses to listen to you and listen to the symptoms that you're reporting and insist on labeling it mental, insist on having one set protocol for care and anything else be mental, he said, he didn't say walk, he didn't say leave and don't go back, he said get your purse and run. Those were his words. Get your purse and run. So I say that to you all as well. If you're dealing with this, if you've got a physician who is not being attentive to the symptoms that you're sharing, get your purse, your wallet, whatever it is, and run. But definitely use the opportunity, use the experience to correct people as they need to be corrected, because most people don't know. And so use it as a teaching moment. Be a teacher. Share the information, because we don't know how far these diseases will spread. And so that'll help someone else along the way. And then also, of course, seek support groups. For every condition they try to treat you for, find a support group. You can go online and find them. You can find them in your area, look in the yellow pages, wherever. Find a support group. I did so, and it was probably the best thing I could have done, because I was able to get hands-on direct information from real patients, not somebody's statistics that was done in a lab somewhere, and I don't even know the conditions under which those statistics were arrived. But I got real people, oftentimes people who were on the same medicines I was on, or had been same journey, or just listening to the different journeys and the different paths that they all took to get there. So I was able just to glean a wealth of information. And in addition to all of that, while you're in that temporary condition, because it'll take several diagnoses before you get to the correct one. That's just for whatever reason, that's the way they are. They don't particularly care. So while you're being diagnosed and treated, or they're looking at, targeting one particular treatment, find a support group and start asking questions. Share with them you're just getting started, etc., and, get as much information as you can. Information, how they say knowledge is power. Information, that's your best friend. And finally, I share this with everyone, and I put this at the end of all of my suggestions when it comes to medicine. And this is more so for your support people and the things you can share with those people around you. The ones who are going to ask you, well, how do I respond to you? How do I treat you? How do I support you? How do I help? Or what can I do? Or what should I not do? You're going to say to them, stop throwing people away. Stop labeling them and belittling them because they have a condition that they probably didn't ask for. You didn't ask for your condition, I'm sure, and you're probably not being properly treated. So ask them, don't throw you away. Don't give you a label or belittle you. Also ask them to treat you with the same amount of compassion that they would someone who had some condition that they're more familiar with, like cancer, like leukemia, multiple sclerosis, or any other visible condition. hyperthyroidism, as well any of the thyroid conditions, are not as visible. And so if you're not able to do things as normal, which is going to lead us into the next final point, if you're not going to be able to do everything like you used to at times. And so because you're not able to, people will very quickly try to say that, you're faking, or, just dismiss whatever your condition is. Hyperthyroidism can lead to death in the long run. Not directly, but because of the impact that it creates on the heart and the blood pressure, because of the impact that it creates in some other areas of your body, it can lead to a very poor quality of life, if not death. So, and if people are going to support you, you need that same amount of compassion. And finally, like I said, have them stop expecting you to do everything, like you used to, because you can't. Especially if you're in flare-up. This condition can go in and out of remission. It's never cured. It goes in and out of remission. They can try to treat it and stabilize it, etc. But as I said, it goes in and out of remission. So if you're having a good day, if you're looking good today, that's excellent. Enjoy your day. Don't overdo it, because tomorrow you could be down very well. So keep that in mind. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them down into the comment section. I will not necessarily respond in that manner on the public comment section, but just leave an email or some way to reach you, and I will reach out to you by email, just because it's your medical business. It's private, it's personal. I'm not a doctor, but I will share with you in greater detail if you're going through some things and it aligns with what I've been through or what I'm familiar with. I'm more than happy to share with you some suggestions or things to raise with your doctor, so that we can get you where you need to be. So that being the case, I wish you well, and be blessed.